This year was the third year that I participated in the Cannes Lions Festival, and the second one that hopefully we we won. We were part of everything that happened there, and for me, it's really interesting for me the growth of the Russian market in a sense that the number of lions this year was, I'm not sure if it was bigger than the last year, but for sure the quality and the quantity of work was very interesting to see. So we had not only new categories where Russia could win different lions, but also we had the Grand Prix in innovation. So this is something particularly good for Russia, in my opinion. So I think that this is a huge win. So the megaphone faces for Sochi, I think it's a case that really brings something very interesting in terms of technology, and it's really interesting also to see that the client could put up a piece like that. So in terms of creativity, I think it's really good to win big and win with a case that it's relevant as this one. I saw that there were very interesting works for social, for non-profit work, and two of them very interesting ones was done by JWT. First one is the donor cable, where they did an iPhone charger that actually you could place the cable in one iPhone and you could donate battery life to the other iPhone, and by that they show how sharing something that gives life to something, it's very important and it's very useful. So they made this metaphor for people to donate blood. So I think it's really relevant and done in an interesting way. And I think that this year a lot of work for charity, they are starting to look alike in terms of everything, in terms of craft, in terms of storytelling, in terms of all the important things that people use to judge a work, the criteria that we use to judge a work. All these non-profit works, they are starting to be very similar to paid work, to huge works, huge campaigns from huge clients. They used something very innovative. They were working together with the police, and it was something very big that you would expect to see in a campaign for Unilever or Procter & Gamble and or whatever of these big companies, but it was non-profit work, and which for me is very interesting because if we use the way that the process that we have inside an agency to try to do good and to, besides having the profit, to also do good for people who cannot afford this kind of work and this kind of processes that we have, then I think it's something very brilliant. So I think that probably next year we are going to see some things so innovative and interesting as the Swedish case, and I think that's really good. That's very nice too. One parallel thing happening in Cannes was the World Cup games, and for me being the Brazilian, it's inevitable that I would be watching the games. So unfortunately, the only day that I could see a full game from Brazil was Brazil versus Mexico. And in Mexico, I'm glad that now they are out of the World Cup because their goalkeeper is just amazing. So the guy just was getting all the attempts from Brazil to score a goal, and the guy was just like a wall, like a concrete wall. And the only game that I could really sit and watch from the beginning to the end was this one, where Brazil and Mexico was 0-0. It was a very sad game, and you could actually see the difference in the mood on people walking in Cannes, because in Cannes I think that 150% of the people who are there are Brazilians, and actually this year much less Brazilians were there, probably because of the World Cup. But you could see the mood after this game because it was a really hard game to stomach. So it was something hard to face. Watching this match was hard. But then, World Cup and Cannes at the same time for me was a unique experience. So 4 years ago I wouldn't imagine to be in Cannes. So for me, it's the first time that I see two big events that are near to what I do, to what I live in my routine, and happening together. So I think it was mind-blowing experience.